Kirami tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari calls for peaceful coexistence as he celebrates Eid-el-Kabir amid cheers at his country home in Dara, Katsina State. Message of unity resonates as Nigerians today join Muslim faithful across the world to commemorate the annual festival. From Mecca to Jerusalem, Muslims the world over preach a message of peace while others perform final rites of the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Kenya's Supreme Court nullifies the election of a sitting president. Uhuru Kenyatta orders fresh elections within 60 days.
And on business news tonight, economist Bismarck Rewane asks federal government to invest in Nigeria's labour productivity.
On sports news, the Super Eagles of Nigeria moved to within touching distance of qualifying for next year's World Cup after crushing Cameroon 4-0 in Uyo.
And from Abuja, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, begins repair works on bad portions of the Asaba-Onitsha Highway after Channels TV's unrelenting report on the state of the road.
Muslims in Nigeria today joined their counterparts around the world to celebrate Eid-el-Kabir, one of the major festivities of the Islamic calendar. President Muhammadu Buhari was not left out of the celebration. He and other prominent Nigerians, including the Emir of Dara, Alhaji Faruk Umar, attended prayers at the Dara Eid ground. And after the prayers, Youth Corps members serving in Katsina State gathered to welcome the president back home.
President Muhammadu Buhari's convoy arrived in the Daura Eid prayer ground for the Eid-el-Kabir prayers. The people had been eagerly waiting to have him join them for the prayers. The president's homecoming is very significant to these people. It is also an opportunity to join him in thanking God for a safe return after his medical vacation to London. And then the prayer begins. The prayer is over. Then begins the carnival of encomiums for the president. This time is not only coming from his people, but from corps members who have come from different parts of the country to serve their fatherland. The president receives their greetings with joy. He is also happy that the scheme has continued to be a unifying factor for Nigeria and insists the country's unity is sacrosanct.
I'm very pleased to see the mood of Nigerians that are here. I'm impressed with the number of NYSC students that are here. If this is the group for Dora alone, I try to imagine for the whole country. And I'm very pleased having served a long time in Lagos, in Ibadan, not to talk of during the war, that Nigerians, some of them have never been out of their state, say in Lagos. They come to the end of Nigeria to see different cultures in the same country.
And then the cheers continue as the convoy leaves the prayer ground.
We are thankful for all of the support of Nigerians and that we ask them continue to be patient and bear with this administration. We are going to deliver on all our promises.
National unity and tolerance dominate the sermons and Eid messages from states in northern Nigeria. In Abuja, the Deputy Chief Imam led dozens of Muslims who braved the rains to observe the special prayer. In other northern states, governors asked Muslims to work for national peace and unity. A long queue of Muslims in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, defy the rains as they file into the National Prayer Ground to observe the 2017 ED-EL-FITRI prayer. Female. The ED-EL-FITRI celebration is to commemorate the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to follow God's command for him to sacrifice his son. While the Deputy Chief Imam of the Abuja National Mosque enjoins citizens to pray for the president, the governor of Nasarawa State harps on the lessons of self-sacrifice as exhibited by the Prophet.
Brothers in Islam, it is obligatory on all of us to intensify prayers for peace, security, and good governance, and also for the positive development in this country. And also, we continue praying for our president.
We need to sacrifice for our neighbors. We need to sacrifice for one another. We need to let go of those things we feel are dear to us for the sake of the other person.
The message about the need to work for national peace and unity vibrates across the states in the north as they celebrate ED-EL-FITRI. From Kaduna to Plateau State, Islamic clerics and governors stress the importance of national unity, urging members to shun hate speeches.
At this point in time, hate speech is retrogressive, and I think it has overheated the polity in this country, and that agitations and counter-agitations from all nooks and crannies of this country, this is also unhealthy at this point in time in which we're trying to, in which the democracy is trying to find its feet very strongly so that we continue to do the game the way it is being done elsewhere in the world.
From the northeastern states of Bauchi, Yobe, and Borno states, the emphasis is on the need to partner with security agencies to ensure lasting peace in the region.
A lot of people came out, and this is having something to do with the peace we are enjoying around. And the security personnel for the past 2 days have been meeting with the government, strategizing how to provide a very peaceful atmosphere for people to come and observe the Eid. And Alhamdulillah, we have witnessed the Eid all over the town without any problem.
We are eternally grateful to the workings of Almighty Allah that has shown us this day and has ensured the maximum peace we have seen in it. And we extend our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also to all of our security details that have stood their ground since yesterday and have ensured a peaceful Salah celebration. And alhamdulillah, we are grateful to God.
The messages coming from this Islamic celebration is one which will go a long way to help guarantee national development. That scenario also played out in the southern part of Nigeria as clerics used the opportunity to preach sermons of peace and unity. But there was a dampener in Ogun State as a vehicle crashed into a congregation of worshippers, leaving 2 people dead.
It is the biggest festival in the Islamic calendar and often symbolizes the end of the holy pilgrimage to Mecca. In Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, Muslim faithful gathered to observe the early morning Eid prayers at various prayer grounds in the state.
The life of our father Ibrahim and his son.
Words of admonition from Islamic clerics and worshippers centered on self-sacrifice, tolerance, love, and peaceful coexistence.
I want to enjoy everybody to please take note of the essence of the celebration, which is about Prophet Ibrahim's total submission to the will of Almighty God. And what does that mean to us? It means that for us, apart from us submitting to God, we should also respect those in authority.
I would like to appeal to those in government to make supreme sacrifice in their daily governance of this country.
In neighboring Ogun State, Governor Ibikule Amosun asked Nigerians to support President Muhammadu Buhari's fight against corruption.
Clearly, things are getting better, and with the return of Mr. President, things will get even better.
Governor Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State prayed with other Muslims at the Agodi prayer ground in Ibadan.
All our subjugations and prayers that the Almighty Allah will grant them, that will continue to have peace and progress in the state, that all our people will, during our time and thereafter, continue to achieve all the good things of life.
While Muslims in Osun and Ondo states were also not left out, they gathered at different prayer grounds to celebrate the festival. From the southwest to the southeast, in Imo State, Muslims gather at the Owerri Central Mosque, where the cleric urges them to take a cue from the lessons of Prophet Muhammad. While in Anambra State, the cleric used the opportunity to pray for the upcoming governorship elections in November.
Leadership is from God. God give the leadership and take the leadership from the person he needs, give to the person he needs. He didn't hate anybody. So I don't want this particular election to become do or die affair.
A major highlight of the ED-EL-FITRI is the slaughtering of the ram, a symbolic representation that right living should be premised on having the interests of others at heart.
Muslims around the world are also celebrating. Many pilgrims are in Saudi Arabia carrying out the final rites of the annual Hajj to mark the festivities.
The first day of the celebrations for the pilgrims was spent carrying out the stoning of the devil ritual, marking the beginning of Eid-al-Adha celebrations, which is the end of the annual Hajj season. Saudi Arabia said more than 2.3 million pilgrims, most of them from outside the country, had arrived for the 5-day ritual. In Jerusalem's Old City, thousands of worshippers gathered at the Al-Aqsa Mosque for early morning prayers. In the West Bank city of Ramallah, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and other officials held holiday prayers at the presidential compound and later laid a wreath on the grave of late Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. Dozens attended prayers in the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, which took place in an open field with Hamas officials leading the prayer. In Egypt and Jordan, worshippers prayed for peace. Over in Syria, President Bashar al-Assad participated in prayers in the town of Kara, near an enclave surrendered on Monday by Islamic State fighters. Muslims marked the holiday by slaughtering animals such as sheep and goats. The meat is shared amongst family and friends and also donated to the poor.
In part 2, after the break, we'll be looking at how to strengthen Nigeria's unity through religious harmony. And I'll be joined by Pastor Ladi Thompson and Dr. Lukman Abdulrahim. Stay with us.